Hey guys, so for this video, I am coloring in my new drawing of a Demon Slayer character. This is Giyuu from Demon Slayer. He is one of the Hashibera. If I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. It's just the name is hard to pronounce. But yeah, basically he's one of the stronger Demon Slayers. So I wanted to draw him because I don't really have a lot of favorite Demon Slayer characters, to be honest. I've mentioned this in quite a few videos, but yeah, Giyuu has to be... I added Giyuu to my list just recently for like favorite characters, but yeah, basically I'm just coloring in his skin tone right now. This drawing actually took me twice as long. Usually it only takes me 30 to 40 minutes to actually go through and color something and outline it, but this time it took me like an hour to do everything just because it looks like the right side for you guys when you're watching the video, but actually when you think about perspective wise, his perspective, it would be his left arm. So actually for his left arm, the kimono had like so many things going on, so it took way longer for me to finish that process. So I'm just coloring in his eyes. This is the part where I totally forget to use a shade of pink for his lips and like the tip of his nose. So for like a little bit of blushy, like blushy blush. But basically I totally forgot, and I'll go back later on in the video. You'll see like I go back and actually add it. So now I'm coloring in his hair. I chose this pose where he's like pointing a sword directly at you. It's kind of like a really cool pose that I saw. It was from a clip from I think the couple first episodes. But anyways, this type of pose was really hard to draw, and to be honest, like it was kind of cut off because it only shows from his head to his chest and that's it. So you don't really see much of like his sleeves or anything like that, or his body. So the angling of the body, I had to come up with that myself in terms of what that would look like, and also like the sleeve. The hand going up was very difficult because I normally don't do that, like that type of pose again, so it was just a little bit of a struggle with it. But I think it turned out really good for my first attempt for something like this. Yeah, so now I'm just shading in all the hair. His hair is just black, so I used like a dark gray, like two dark grays. So one of the dark grays is the base. Then I use a darker gray for his like shading of like the tips of his hair, and then I actually go over with black, and I'm now just shading in, like mapping out the different parts so that way it looks like it's layered more. So yeah, I just use like the 3-color method for his like hair. So yeah, 3 shades, and basically that's all it is. I did leave some whites for like highlights, but usually I don't do that again, so it was a bit, I don't know, it turned out okay, I guess. So now I'm moving on to coloring his uniform. So underneath he wears like the Demon Slayer Corporation like uniform, so that's what I'm coloring, and then on top he wears his kimono. So yeah. I like how they have the like Demon Slayer uniforms, but then they also add a touch by like having their own kimonos on top of it, so they're not like generic characters. You can tell who's who by like what they're wearing, which is really nice. I think the design for the kimonos are really pretty. They just kind of really complex to go through and like try to draw. So yeah. So right now I'm just coloring in his uniform. This part was just like a lot of just black. So I use like a dark gray for the base, and then I use the actual black to shade this in. You'll notice like I draw a ring around like the buttons just because I don't want to color into the buttons, and it's easy with like touch markers to do that because they'll like just bleed into places you don't want them to. So this is my way of like trying not to have that happen. And now I am shading it. I did add his pocket and then also his belt. I actually had to like look up different reference photos just because the photo that I used for the pose, again, it was from head to chest. So I had to find what his uniform looked like lower than his chest area. So yeah, for like his torso and then his hips. So yeah, and then also his sleeves too. And now I am shading in the belt. The belt is white, so I just added a little bit of gray and also to the pocket and the collar. And now I am coloring in his kimono. So his right side of his kimono is actually burgundy. I forgot what I said before. Did I say his left side? Okay. But anyways, his right side of his kimono, I completely forgot what I said before about like the left side, but this is his right side. It looks like it's on your left, but it is his right side. So it's supposed to be burgundy, so it's like a reddish brown. So what I did is I used like this dark red that I had, and then I used like this, it's called like wine red. It's supposed to look like red wine basically, which is really dark. And I used that to actually shade it because it had like a brown tinge to it, so it kind of looks a bit burgundy. So yeah, so I'm just going in with that now. I basically just colored it like his whole inner part of his sleeve, just because it's supposed to be really dark in the sleeve anyways. I was debating on using like a gray or something, but I think this looks okay. I tried to make it that his hand was up, but his torso was kind of faced like diagonally, so like his chest was facing diagonally for that to the right. So yeah, it was a bit difficult. This is the part that took the longest, which is the left arm, like the left sleeve of the kimono. It was just lots of coloring. So there's 4 colors in this. I'll basically go through what colors. So there's yellow, orange, a green, and a dark green. There's 4 colors, but the part that took the longest was not like figuring out the colors. It was just the whole fact that there was like, it's a pattern, but they're all geometrical shapes. So coloring them, like, I was like slowly coloring them in because I was like, I don't want the marker to bleed into another spot. So yeah. Um, it just took me quite some time. I want to say like a good 20 minutes to finish just the sleeve, just because there's so many tiny parts to it. I feel like this one what took way longer compared to like my Tanjiro drawing, which is like, if you want to see my other drawings for Demon Slayer, you can check out my drawings playlist. So I did Inosuke, Zenitsu, um, Nezuko, Tanjiro, and now it's Giyuu. So yeah, but yeah, so Tanjiro's kimono took a little while because his was like checkerboards, but Giyuu's has way more like detail and a lot of like tiny shapes, so you have to go in there and try to color it all. Yeah, it's just tedious. So like every time I would go like I would color it, and then I would go down, and halfway on the sleeve my wrist would start hurting just because of like how much concentration I'm using to color it. So yeah, but overall I didn't hate the process of it. It was more like, oh, this is just gonna take a long while. So yeah, I was trying to speed through as fast as I could, but it's not like it's not like I could color any faster than I was. So this is the part where I'm adding the light green. Yeah, I'm looking at my drawing because I'm like looking at what's light green and what's dark green. So yeah, so this is the light green. You'll see more of like the geometric shapes come into like actually forming now when I'm adding like the different colors. So like I would get to halfway and then my wrist would start hurting again and then I would be like, "Oh no, this is too much." But I just kind of powered through it cuz I wanted to finish it today, this whole drawing, and yeah. It took way longer than I normally would take on a drawing, to be honest, but in the end it was worth it. I learned how to do like geometric patterns. It was just a lot. This is why when I create my own characters, they don't have patterns like this because it's just a lot. It's amazing how like in the show they animate it and they put the pattern on. It's just the creator who drew like the characters, concepts and stuff like that. That's really amazing. Like all of the kimonos look really pretty, especially the guy ones. I feel like there's like so much detail. The girl ones are really nice too. Like I forgot her name, the one with um the butterfly kimono, like she's also really pretty too. But the guy ones with they look nice. But it would have been easier if Giyuu just had like one solid color to his kimono, but this adds more like contrast and stuff like that. So I'm just shading with a gray for like the folds that I'm gonna be outlining later on. But basically, yeah, I shaded with a gray instead of trying to figure out what colors to shade with, like the specific colors, like for the green, if I was using a darker green. Because normally, if I was just using a green, I would use a darker green. But in this case, I just shaded it with a gray because it's easier. I'm now coloring in his sword. He has like a blue tint to his sword from what I see in the anime, like the screenshot that I had, like for reference. But I'm not really sure, but it has like a blue tint to it because all of the slayers, their swords, their blades actually change color when they take ownership of the sword. So when they hold on to the sword, it will change color and the color will fit their personality and everything like that. It has something to do with like them. So yeah, but I added that anyways, and I also added like two white lines to kind of highlight the sword, make it look a bit shiny and not just like I colored it with marker only. So now I am outlining the drawing. So I didn't bother to color in his eyebrows because I wanted to outline his eyebrows like I'm doing now, just because it's harder to color eyebrows actually with the touch markers. And also it doesn't look as bold as me using like a black outline marker. If it was like a different color where I don't have like different outline markers in different colors, I would definitely use like the same color I'm using to color in the hair. But for this case, it's black, so I wanted to use the black outline marker just to make the eyebrows stand out more. And now I'm outlining all of the wrinkles and the pocket and the belt for his uniform. I don't know why every time I talk it's like kind of out of breath. So I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. It kind of sounds like I'm out of breath. I guess it's because like I'm trying to talk pretty fast. So yeah. So now I'm outlining. I outlined his hand and his blade, and now I'm going for his right side of his kimono. And for the folds, like the actual folds for his left side, I did outline them with my regular outlining marker, but then afterwards, I went and did something else. So this is the part where I filled in the lips and the nose part with the pink because I forgot that in the beginning. So yeah, I just did it to show you guys that I actually did it. And I'm going in with this Muji pen, which I have. I only use this sometimes. It's very inky and tends to smudge a lot because it doesn't dry that fast because it's like very inky. So I'm using this to outline his, like the geometric shapes for his pattern in his clothes, just because it's like I want it to look thinner. So you can tell the difference between like what's a pattern on his clothing in comparison to what are like the actual folds on his kimono. But yeah, that's basically it though, so it's just gonna keep going and showing you the outlining. But yeah, if you guys want to check out my drawings playlist and see my other Demon Slayer or other anime drawings, you can check that out. All my links are in the description box below, so if you want to check those out, please like and follow those. You'll get like art updates constantly about like what I'm drawing and stuff like that. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for this video. Um, I've been like, recently I uploaded a video talking about it, but I noticed my comments were disabled for a lot of my anime art drawings automatically from YouTube, so I guess they thought it was a kid's thing because anime, like teenagers can watch it, so I guess they thought like, oh, it's for kids, so they disabled my comments automatically, but I'm like filtering through and constantly like turning on my changing it so that way the settings are proper so you guys can actually comment. So leave a comment in the description box, in the not the description box. Why do I always say that? But leave a comment in the comments section if you have any requests for any like anime characters or any characters at all that you want to see me draw in my style. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!